Yeah.
Suck at car alarms.
I can definitely agree with that.
The Murder Hornet candles lit. We are back on a Monday. Hope you guys had a good weekend out there.
Got your
Rona. On top of that, if I get the Rona.
To get the Rona.
To a Tagliatelle.
Coming in hot.
Getting the drops in
early
early
on a Monday. Early and often.
There we go.
Never a bad time for that also.
Oh God.
I don't think that one's ever
I love me
gone
some
over the
Vampire
air
Kiss. Yet. I won't knock it. No, I don't think. No, you just frightened me with it during our pre-shows and post-shows.
Some stuff I got to keep just for me. As a spider drops down. Get out of here, guy. I mean, as always, suck mosquitoes as well. But
of course, sucking mosquitoes.
Pretty positive news day, I would say, in the sports world, particularly some of the bigger holdout states. Some of the comments that came out of there, which we will get into later. Some cool events over the weekend as well. NASCAR returned. The Last Dance had its 2-episode finale, which was pretty good, and we'll get into. I, again, dropped the ball. I haven't seen all of it yet, but we're going to break it down. Spoiler, I know what happens, okay? Like, I was alive. It's fine. But, Tyler, how was your weekend?
It wasn't too bad. Got to, partake in some watching live sports, a little bit of Bundesliga, a little bit of NASCAR, a little bit of UFC. Of course, last episode of The Last Dance. So it wasn't too bad of a weekend. How was yours?
I got to see a little Bundesliga as well. And I think I saw the Dortmund game where they just, beat the crap out of Schalke. And then I don't remember what game it was. It was, Dusseldorf or somebody. Where the thing just cracked me up is that one of the teams scored in 35 seconds.
Oh,
so imagine being the other team coming out of the lockdown, just what the hell, man?
All right, we've been off for
2 months to prepare for this crap.
We've been off for 2 months. Let's go show them what we're made of, and then give up a goal.
Give them hell, lads! Oh, we suck again. We suck again.
Was that the game today, I think? Because there was a game today, I know that.
No, I saw that one, I think it was yesterday, early in the morning. I saw a little bit of it. And it was just had it on in the background, just as I'm getting up out of bed. And then go in the bathroom to just wash my face. And I come back out, and it's under a minute, and some guy's celebrating a goal. I was like, geez, you guys were not staying in shape out there, apparently.
Welcome back to live football, lads.
Give them hell, lads. But no, it was cool to see, and I did watch quite a bit of NASCAR, as I think a lot of people did. So we'll get into some numbers there, which NASCAR kind of getting that. I don't know if you want to call it a Dana White esque bump of just being one of the only live sporting events that matters that you can watch on TV. Yep. But I think the biggest thing over the weekend was The Last Dance. As I said, I've only seen about 15-20 minutes of the 9th episode, but again, no spoilers here. And I've read some different stories about some of the stuff that was in there. There's always a little extra footage and stuff like that. But Tyler watched both, so I'm going to defer to Tyler. And then I have a couple thoughts overall on the whole, production of it. But how did you think it ended off? And maybe just kind of in a broader view, what did you think of the whole product?
It was very enjoyable. I do want to give a shout out. I see the comment there from Callan. Do want to say happy birthday to Callan, fellow sports host on the network here.
Happy birthday, Callan. Also, shout out to B-Rad.
Hutch. There we go.
Just making it easier for everyone out there. It's a visual medium, so just want to let you know what's really going on back here.
And shout out Patrice as well. She's always watching our show too. I see she left us a comment.
Sunsets and mosquitoes, baby. That's all we do. That's what we do.
That's what we do. Now, it was a really good show. Again, there wasn't a whole lot that maybe a more than casual fan would already know. I mean, some of the behind the scenes footage was really cool. Obviously, stuff we haven't seen before. They actually did have this. They actually showed that Utah actually won the series, but then the NBA just got rid of that footage, refilmed it, reshot it, make sure Michael won. So there was that whole thing. But
and David Stern said, "Nah."
Yeah, he cracked down that. But no, it was really cool. I mean, I had texted you and a couple other people last night. I think nobody had a better 1998 than Dennis Rodman.
Yeah,
NBA champ. Running with the NWO at the height of the Monday Night Wars and WCW, and he was dating Carmen Electra, who still looks amazing. That dude absolutely won 1998, no doubt in my mind.
Yeah, I mean, probably fair to say he probably peaked, in his career arc at that time. Although, as we mentioned before the show, that was before his bizarre international diplomacy career. But that's a story for another time.
But overall, again, it was really cool show. I saw some people online kind of this seemed like a few and far between complaint, but some people were saying, like, if the show was so focused on the 1998 season, why do they keep jumping back and back to all these ones? And I thought, you do need it for context. Like, you do have to contextualize why the 1998 season was such a big deal, other than it was Michael's last season, showing all the previous, the failures against the Bad Boy Pistons, then his rise, and then Leaf. And so, like, I think you do need all that to kind of give context to why the 1998 was so big. I will also say that the what's the name of the owner of the Bulls, Reinsdorf. The little spoiler on this one, they showed a video to, how they give Mike the little iPad and he's watching what other people have to say. They showed a video of Reinsdorf explaining why he didn't, why they didn't re-sign everybody for another year, and it basically amounts to him kind of being a cheap bastard. Which Mike was kind of saying, like, look, I think we all would have signed 1-year deals. Granted, Scottie Pippen may have not, because he had a whole history there. Yeah. But it would have been kind of interesting to see if they could have brought that team back for one last year to see how they would have done against that Spurs team. I mean, young Tim Duncan, not old, but certainly still really good. David Robinson.
The Knicks going into like complete full Pat Riley thug mode. Year. In the lockout shortened season,
getting Spreewell with that massive trade,
yeah, and just oh my god, I was talking to somebody at work today about that, like, because watching this Last Dance, NBC used to hold the rights to the NBA, and they would do doubleheaders on Sunday. Usually, so good. The later game would be the Bulls and somebody, because they were so good during that time. So it'd be for a while they would try to get as many Bulls Pacers or Bulls Knicks, obviously, things like that. And some of those Knicks teams that came after that had their little window were just an abomination. I mean, I love that you could be a little more physical, because I think it is kind of ridiculous, some of the fouls that get called now. But they would win games like 72-68, and it would just be like 5 flagrant fouls. You had the infamous Jeff Van Gundy incident where he's like latched onto the leg of the guy.
Yeah, hanging on to Zoe, yeah.
It wasn't not entertaining, but I don't know if I would call it basketball. But again, we'll delve into that at another time. But I think the main thing for me, just my biggest takeaway, and I mentioned this to Callan as well, is the nostalgia of it. Because it is cool to see new footage that was really well shot on 30 millimeter film camera, so it still looks good on current TVs. Still looks real good. Yeah. The editing was really good. I agree with you. I don't have a problem with the jumping around, because it does give you context. And that team was so good for that period of time. It gives you the whole buildup of here's the other like top dog people they had to get over, like coming up just short against the Celtics for a little bit, and then it was the Pistons. And then you see the Pacers coming up. So it does build that all up. The only thing I wasn't shocked by, but didn't particularly care for, as far as it being considered a documentary, is just that it was obviously very favorable to Jordan. I think they didn't really spend enough time on some of the negative things. But again, if Jordan doesn't sign off on this or sit down for the interviews, where he's got his like $8,000 glass of cognac, then this doesn't come out. So there's got to be some right of first refusal things that, it's like, oh, yeah, he had a gambling problem. We talked about that for 2 minutes. But let's go back to 8 minutes of this one time. He got really mad at Horace Grant. Like, okay, well, I mean, it seems like you're kind of skipping over some key things here. But it was really enjoyable. And like I said, the nostalgia, especially right now, missing basketball, we'd be in the playoffs. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it for what it was. It's not like the most in-depth, hard-hitting documentary ever made. Ken Burns spinning in his grave, even though he's alive. But
He dug one just
it.
so he could spin in it.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, it has. It's been so enjoyable. You know, I've seen some people say, you know, you can't really call it a documentary because it is, you know, not, or it is biased because obviously Mike has to give all the sign offs. You know, and that's fine. Like, call it whatever you want. I've been really enjoyed by it. You know, I thought it was funny that you mentioned the scores of the games. That was one thing I noticed was when they were showing the last NBA final, the 98 one. It was like, you know, the final scores were like 86-82. And I'm thinking to myself, like, God, 86-82, that's like a halftime score. And again, that's, you know, and again, it's not saying one generation is better than the other because it's just everything about the game is so different, even within a 20-year span. So it is just such a massive change in the league that we've seen. But a couple other things I did before we jump on to the next topic, a couple things I want to point out that I really love from the show was Michael Jordan and Larry Bird's conversation after the Eastern Conference Final, when Michael just sees Larry backstage, and his exact words were, "You bitch, fuck you." And they walk in, they give each other a hug. You know, that's just guys will talk to each other like that if they're really good friends. They'll just insult each other. I swear you can hear Larry when they get like real close, like face to face. Larry whispers, "You motherfucker." And then like as they leave, in the most alpha move I've ever seen, Jordan tells Larry, "Now you can go work on your golf game." Gets into a Porsche with a license plate that just says "Air" and it drives away. That's the most alpha thing I've ever seen in my life.
See, MJ, I think we already all knew that you're kind of a dick. Like, we didn't have to gloss over. It could have been a more fully fleshed out picture of you. But I mean, again, I enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. I'm shocked, but also thankful that ESPN continued to do it in 2-episode weekends.
Yeah.
Because I thought they would just drag that thing out, especially after the first weekend. You see a lot of times, like when shows come out, they'll come out with 2 episodes to kind of get you more into the characters, whatever the story. And then it goes back to, you know, every week 1. Because they could have made this, you know, 70% longer and had the ratings for that long. But maybe, you know, as we were talking about and we'll get into later, we might have some pro sports coming back sooner than later. But overall, I did really enjoy it.
Yeah, and then also just one last thing here. I do want to say at the end, there's a part where all the players have to they like write a letter or write poems, and they just throw it to fire and never read it. I'm forever convinced that Mike's poem was just shitting on Scott Burrell as usual. And also next week, please give us a 2-episode follow up on the Wizards years. That's what I want. That's what I want to see.
I think that's going to be one of those. What are the ones they do, like the smaller? It's not 30 for 30s. They do like the web ones.
Yeah.
The Wizards years.
I would like
Jerry
to see
Stackhouse is pissed.
Just poor Kwame Brown just getting mentally abused by Mike.
MJ, the drunk pianist. Will also.
Oh God, yeah, I forgot about that.
Pretty great comment that I don't know if I'm allowed to leave up on the screen because we are, grateful for our network show here, but you'll have to go into the Facebook feed to see that one. I put this one up earlier as well. That Cease mentions that Dennis Rodman is the hero that we need now in these times. I agree. Also, Cease, one thing I wanted to mention to you, calling you out, brother, is that where are you at? Why haven't you called into the show yet? Come on. It's right there. I want all the smoke, Cease.
For real, when we first posted that up, the first thing we said to each other was like, "Oh yeah, Cease is going to call in." He hasn't called in yet.
Oh, and circling back because I didn't see it the first time, I was just trying to get the comments up there. Callan mentioned the jersey, which is a throwback Brandon Ingram Lakers jersey. He's not even on the team anymore, and it's a bootleg that was given to me sort of as a troll birthday gift. But hey, I'll still rock it. Hey, and this is free. Why I also bootleg everything. It even came with a sweet tag on it. Even
there we
go. See in the light, it's got the fake hologram, some kind of serial number. I don't know, but they do a good job. I'm not going to give up my source, but just go to I don't know, China.com and search Brandon Ingram bootleg jersey. You'll find it.
China.com. Yeah, it'll be there.
.co.ca. I don't know. I don't know what their domain is over there. But let's move on. I know as you regular followers, we'll get to that in a minute, Cease, of the show know, we are big iRacing fans and, casual NASCAR fans, I guess, if they want to race real cars. They made their triumphant return to TV this weekend. Our hometown connection, Kevin Harvick, pulled off the win, his 50th career win. That's a pretty big deal. I think even in the post-race interview after he did the donuts in front of no one, which I also thought was funny. You got to do donuts, though, if you win.
It's just ingrained into you. If you win, you do them.
You got to do it. Yeah. Which I mentioned, too, as we were watching it yesterday. The crew chief guy, on one hand, is like, yes, we won. And he's like, please don't break that car anymore. Like, you don't got to do all that. Like, he's so conflicted in that moment. Right. But, no, Harvick got the win. Pretty much was out in front for a majority, at least at the end. I saw probably about the whole second half of it, and I was kind of in and out doing some yard work at the first part.
He led 159 out of 293 laps.
Yeah, so he held it down. C says we don't want him on the show. He was the last guest on YFPFE. He's a show killer. I'm willing to roll those dice, Cease. I'll take that chance.
We're not relying on Skype anymore. I have more faith in StreamYard than I do in Skype.
Exactly. Come on, bring it on.
Bring that smoke.
But yeah, it was weird to see it with no fans. Fox still did a great production of it, as they always do. Mike Joy and Jeff Gordon are really, really good. I mean, seen the broadcast before. Obviously, this was a different circumstance with no fans, and they were doing some different things, with the drone cameras. Which was really weird because you just see no one as it's flying over and the cars are going by. But they had a huge ratings boost by this, too. They got 6.3 million viewers. And I know that it was like a 40% jump over the last real race they did on March 8th. Yeah. So, and then I think like in 5 of the major media markets, it was like 100% or more increase in viewers. I think LA was like 150% increase in that market. Which, as Tyler pointed out, that means they went from 2 to 8 viewers in LA.
That's all right. Big jump, all right.
150% is 150%. So I hate all you.
Yeah, for sure.
No, but it was cool. They tried to do some of the things I noticed during the production was things they were doing with the iRacing, trying to make it a little more engaging to the fans. Putting up, social media from some of the drivers and other NASCAR personalities involved with the whole thing. So we'll probably be seeing more of that because I think the formula that they kind of had time to practice with iRacing did work out pretty well, especially given the circumstance where we're probably not going to have fans at some of these for a while. But I thought it was a good show. And like I said, I watched more NASCAR yesterday than I've watched in a long time. So kudos to you guys.
Yeah. No, I like you. I had it on. I was kind of watching a little bit, then go off do something else, have it on the background. But I overall enjoyed it. Obviously, it's great when the local boy Kevin Harvick can win. I did send you a text, and I kind of noticed this at the end of that the iRacing tribute video you did, where you had the little clip of Kevin Harvick. He is finally starting to look older. He looked exactly the same from the time he was like 18 until a couple years ago. Now he's finally starting to look like, oh, no, he is in his 40s. Did notice that, but again, big ups to him. 50th career Cup win. That's that's definitely nothing to sneeze at, and hopefully he's going to keep it going through the season. But that's just a personal bias coming through there.
I think with his finishes before the whole season stopped, he's got to be close to, if not like leading in points right now. So I don't fully understand, I'm gonna be honest, the way they have this whole playoff format now. I wish it was just like the old days, because some of the stage racing stuff I don't completely grasp yet. I'll have to dive more into that. Again, I'm an iRacing man, all right? I'm not the hardcore NASCAR fan I was. Elementary school, Ronnie was more of a NASCAR fan because our school did all this stuff with Mason Marin. Coincidentally, one of Kevin Harvick's proving grounds when he was
one of the old stomping grounds. Yep.
Yeah. And I did want to put that back up there. Shout out to Brad. The track looked like an LA freeway. That's why we tuned in. Yeah, you might have something there. I could see that.
Possibly. All right. Well, in some other big news, we had the governor of California, Gavin Newsom, did announce that that professional sports will be back. What did he say? First week of June, I think is what he said.
Yeah, I have the clip here. I'm going to play for you guys. This was earlier today. he just kind of threw this out, and obviously mentioned there's still going to be safety guidelines and things like that involved. But let me play this for you guys.
To be loosened up. In addition to that, sporting events, pro sports in that first week or so of June without spectators and modifications and very prescriptive conditions also can begin to move forward.
Governor Newsom coming to you from apparently a local deli of some kind. But I always enjoy seeing him next to the sign language interpreter as well, because I feel like he's almost doing as much with his hands as she is, and she's actually trying to have a whole conversation with her hands. But
I imagine somebody watching that could be confused.
Pro sports. Maybe a future drop on this program. Stay tuned for that. But yeah, good news, because I know California, and then again, New York and Texas. Well, not really Texas. Texas is trying to get it back going. But California and New York do have a lot of pro teams, obviously, in all sports. And they've been some of the more, well, New York, in their case, was hit super hard because of the population density. So they've been pretty conservative with some of the measures there. And then California has been really conservative with a lot of the measures here. So that's a positive sign, that I think if they're willing to acknowledge, like, all right, whatever the curve's sort of tapering or flattening off, whatever they want to say, to where we can have sports, then I'm all for it.
Yeah, I mean, obviously those are the three biggest states in the nation: California, Texas, New York. I think Texas said they're trying to even get Little League baseball going again, as long as the parents in the crowd are abiding by the guidelines of 6 feet apart, masks, all that stuff.
How are we going to have Little League baseball without drunken parent fights, though?
It's not going to happen. I don't think you can do it. But even I did see something recently that, like, Nevada is starting to look at whether they're going to continue to do it. Which Dana White just said, "Well, fine. If I can't fight here, I'll just go fight in Arizona," because they're cool with it. So it is reassuring seeing that some states are opening things up. It's whether we're really flattening out or if we're going to get a second wave, I don't know. Obviously, everybody's keep practicing the best guidelines we can. But it is just reassuring that seeing that things are opening up, just from a sports fan's perspective, that we might be getting more live sports on TV at normal hours, which that's a good thing.
That is nice. That would be nice. I mean, I do love, as you guys know, I'm a pretty big soccer fan, but not always convenient to get up super ass crack early on a Saturday and Sunday and watch some German league action. So normal primetime American sports would be nice. And again, all kind of looks like it's, once again, shaping up the NFL's way. They'll be able to go off with no problems.
Yeah, the NFL will get what they want, I think.
I think so, too. I know I heard a little bit of the Tony Gwynn Jr. and Chris Ello program on the radio station 97.3 here in San Diego that I used to work for. Maybe someday again. And Tony Gwynn had a pretty interesting theory about, they were having a conversation of what sports do you think would be most affected by playing in front of no fans. And he mentioned something along the lines of, my initial thought was maybe basketball, hockey, just because it's really emotional, faster sport. The fans are right on top of you in a building with a roof.
Right.
But he actually brought up a good, pretty funny point as a former professional player. He's like, no fans in baseball is really going to be difficult because you have to pay a lot more attention. If you're just like standing in right field waiting for something to happen, you might get caught slipping if there's no fans, heckling you or anything to just kind of keep your head in the game. So that's a interesting viewpoint that I enjoyed.
Pro baseball will just look like those Little League games with the kid in left field that's like just got his back turned to the plate, just staring off, looking at a bird in the distance.
Yeah, trying to catch butterflies or, picking grass up off the field. Like, no, it's over your head.
Well, you mentioned a moment ago, I want to use this segue here. You mentioned a moment ago international soccer. Well, there was a little bit of a story that I saw before here, and I advertised it a little bit on the Twitter to try and get some views. Shameless. Actually, not shameless. I'll just throw anything out there to get people to watch.
In my game. No way.
But the in the Korean Soccer League, which started back up this last week in the K League, there's a little bit of a controversy with one of the teams there. I believe it was FC Seoul. In order to kind of help out with the team and at least give the appearance that there's a crowd out there, they put mannequins in the crowd. It's still 6 feet away with masks and everything on. But it turns out some of the mannequins they used were actually sex dolls.
Yeah, we've seen. I have a file photo here. FC Seoul. You stay classy, FC Seoul. Hey, they put masks on them, though.
No, right. Yeah. At least they're being, safe.
You got to be responsible. And it looks like they may be, 6 feet away. But maybe just go with the cardboard cutouts. It seems to be working, with the baseball league. I don't know why you have to go with real dolls. Also, I think they're pretty expensive, no?
Yes, I believe they are. I can't say for certain, but I believe they are expensive.
Also, is the implication here that, no people of any other race would go to a Korean League game? Come on, FC Seoul. It's a little racist, don't you think?
Jeez, terrible. But
that was pretty funny, and they had to kind of walk that back. That's the best thing you want right now if you're a PR person for a sports team. It's like, can we just not have to make me put these stupid releases out? Like, it's the last thing I need. Like, we're trying to figure out how to make money here. We're trying to figure out how to get fans in here. And you guys go and do this.
I went to school to learn how to help a team out, not have to put out a press release because we have sex dolls in the crowd.
Well, you're going to learn today, son. Welcome to the job.
Right. Welcome to the pros. This is the K-League.
This is the big leagues.
And then I guess I'll throw in this one last quick story before we go. See, we got a couple minutes left here. There just was some news on the cookout heist that we talked about last Friday. Both participants did turn themselves into the authorities this weekend. However, Dunbar's attorney did actually present sworn affidavits from all 5 witnesses that spoke to the police and pointed Dunbar and blanking on the other name, but pointed them out. The prosecutor says they find it suspect that they got a statement from all 5 of these people and then they recant
immediately afterwards.
Yeah. So they're kind of looking into that. We'll learn more over the coming days. But just wanted to give an update on that.
Yeah, and this is going to drag on for a while, which is probably the only thing going wrong in the NFL world right now. I'm sure the agents for these 2 guys are super happy that this happened. When there's nothing else in football really to talk about now that the draft happened. I'm sure they're just, totally jazzed about it. But, there's going to be a lot more that comes out to this because it was already a weird story when it came out, and I just think there's going to be a lot more that will slowly kind of trickle out as we get closer to the season and whatever online OTAs are. I don't even know, but
right. It's like this is a weird scenario because you're either going to get 5 people charged with like filing a false report and perjury, or an attorney getting charged with just like having people signing BS statements recanting what was reported. So
yeah, just getting disbarred or something.
Like, it's not going to turn out good for somebody, that's for sure.
Well, yeah. I mean, it didn't turn out good for the people that got robbed. So
True.
There's that.
True.
If we start with that and just kind of zoom out.
Yeah.
But overall, I think we're getting, a positive direction here in the sports world. It was a good weekend. I'd like to see more things come back. But we got to get out of here. Ask Auntie Bev anything coming up next. So, Tyler, what you got?
R.I.P. Fred Willard, one of the greatest guys in comedy history. Definitely somebody that you've seen.
Legend.
You've seen him in every show that you like, and he's killed it in every show you like.
The Cinco Mancierge. Look up the Cinco Mancierge from Tim and Eric. It's hilarious. And Spinal Tap.
Other than that, keep the fire, everybody.
Keep the fire.